What's up, everybody? It's Tom. We're going to talk about a handful of Twins topics here. Correa still in the news, yes. The Blayne Enlow decision. We're going to talk about the A.J. Pollock decision and some of the other right-handed bats that are on the free agent market, the projected bullpen and some of the free agents left there, and then also the newest free agent, I suppose, Trevor Bauer. All right, starting off with Correa again. We can't avoid this. Every time I feel like I talk about the offseason, it always starts with Correa no matter what. And it continues to happen because he is not a New York Met still. News came out yesterday from Ken Rosenthal and Dan Hayes of The Athletic, highlighted here that talks between the Twins and Correa have begun to accelerate. What exactly does that mean? We don't know. We're kind of in the dark there. They made sure to note that the Mets aren't out by any means. I still think the Mets want Correa. Correa wants to be a Met. I think that is more than likely going to happen. Not too surprised that the Twins are trying to stay involved in this. You know, they need a shortstop. Again, we've talked about this so much. I guess the only thing I would have to add to update is I certainly don't think the Twins should be increasing their offers that they've made, which I've seen some people suggest they should do. I think, if anything, with what's gone on, they should be decreasing their offer, but, hard to say what the motivations are on each side. Obviously, tons of concern about that leg. I still find it a little strange because he's never been on the injured list as a major leaguer due to that injury. So, now, that doesn't mean there's not concern when you're talking about a 10-year plus contract, of course, is sort of the monkey wrench thrown in there. But anyway, let's move on. There's been enough talk about Correa. The Twins are back in. That's the big takeaway. Actual moves that happened, though. The Twins claimed Oliver Ortega from the Angels, and to make room for him, they DFAed Blayne Enlow. This is one of those types of moves that I would not have done if I was them, but I can't really get all that worked up about. Blayne Enlow, it's really disappointing, and we'll see if he clears waivers and he stays in the organization. Hopefully he does, but certainly a guy with a lot of upside, a lot of talent. But we can already say this. This is what I'll say now. This is a pretty big failure on the part of this front office. This was one of their first really big moves, was in their first draft. They had the number 1 overall pick. One of the ways they sort of creatively used their bonus pools was to get Blayne Enlow. And, I mean, it just hasn't worked out so far, at least. Again, maybe he moves on to another organization. Maybe he stays here. I had kind of a bad feeling when he got moved into the bullpen last year that it wasn't going to work out. But you know what? It is what it is. Once you are, he was drafted out of high school. Once you're on a 40-man roster, there becomes a lot of pressure, a lot of, you don't have that many spots on the 40-man to kind of stash a guy for development. These guys are going to be contributing at the major league level. You're going to need them. Is basically what I'm trying to say, and Blayne Enlow is just not ready for that at this moment. Of course, he had Tommy John. This past season was his first year back from that. Some good signs, some things that he needed to improve upon. Certainly, the future still is open for him. He could certainly put it all together, but again, there's only so many 40-man roster spots, and if you were looking at Blayne Enlow and thinking, I don't think this guy can contribute to our major league roster this upcoming season, it's tough to just stash him for a year. So we'll see what becomes of that. Oliver Ortega kind of overshadowed a bit by the Enlow DFAed, but seems like a pretty intriguing guy. He has 2 minor league options, so that's good. He can be sent down to the minors without exposing him to waivers. Again, I don't think I would have made this move, to be honest with you, but I can't get too worked up about it. Some other people were upset that some of the other guys weren't DFA'd instead of Enlow. Obviously Emilio Pagan comes up in any of these conversations. I've just thrown my hands up, and I've accepted that Pagan's going to be a Twin for life. We're stuck with him forever now. Topic number 3, the Twins were rumored to be interested in A.J. Pollock. He signed with the Mariners, so what's next? I really was not that interested in A.J. Pollock. This is a guy who's 35 years old, coming off a season in which he had a 92 WRC plus 100s league average. You don't really need to know a ton about that stat. It's an offensive metric. So I wasn't too keen on them signing him. And then here are some other right-handed hitting options that are still available on the free agent market that I either like more or just as much. Trey Mancini, Andrew McCutchen, Luke Voigt, Brian Anderson, and Adam Duvall. Some of these guys bring different position to the table. Brian Anderson, I think, is kind of interesting in that he plays corner, outfield, and third base. So he may be kind of a guy who I don't think has been linked to the Twins yet. There's other guys, too. This isn't a comprehensive list here. Then I've got both their 2022 numbers and their projected WRC plus for next year, according to Steamer, listed there. And that's what the Twins are primarily looking for in this potential signing, is a bat, a right-handed bat to come in and hit lefties. I didn't put the splits for these guys up. Some of these guys are a little bit more extreme than others. But I don't think it's some big loss that the Twins didn't get A.J. Pollock. And they have about 100 corner outfielders already anyway. We'll see what the trade market does to that. But anyway, topic number 4 is the bullpen. Here's the projected bullpen according to Roster Resource at Fangraphs. And man, I think this looks really solid. I think, too, something to keep in mind is we can basically always assume one guy's going to be injured, and when it comes to relievers especially, one guy's going to underperform. Relievers are so up and down, so if we make those two assumptions, all of a sudden this bullpen, there's a lot more questions. But there are some intriguing guys beyond this list here who are not projected on this opening day bullpen. So I think, we haven't talked about this much, which is why I want to bring it up. And I think it's similar to the rotation in a way, in that I don't think they should be really necessarily looking for any more depth guys, which is why I didn't really understand the Oliver Ortega move all that much. I think they should be aiming higher. I think they should be aiming for quality with any bullpen. And luckily there are some good bullpen relievers still available on the free agent market. The guys that stick out from the left side is Andrew Chafin. From the right side is our old buddy Michael Fulmer, who was a Twin briefly last year. So I think this unit is already looking pretty good as is, but one of those two guys, heck, why not both of them? If the Twins, if they don't get Correa, they've got quite a bit of money to spend. And I think both of those guys represent some upgrades, but I don't think, we should be looking for your Joe Smiths or, that caliber of reliever. I think those two guys really stood out to me were Andrew Chafin and Michael Fulmer, both recently with the Detroit Tigers. And then number 5, Trevor Bauer was released. I don't want to talk about this much. No, that's all I want to say. No, I'm not interested in him being on the Twins. I think some people were interested in my opinion on that. That's really all I would say. Don't want this guy in the Twins. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to all of the members. Here are the premium members listed here. We'll talk again soon.